What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of the LA Reports with your co-hosts, Eris Morrison and Linjo Kilo.
Yes, sir.
We thank you guys for joining us again for this latest episode. Today, as we talked about on episode 2, we'll be doing a continuation, wrapping up our conversation about COVID-19, and we'll be addressing an even bigger epidemic going on in America, the fear of Black and brown men in public spaces, and obviously the sad reality that we continuously talk about, police brutality against unarmed Black men and women.
Nah, facts, bro. Yeah, man, that shit definitely tough, bro. But we're going to definitely dive into it later.
Yes, sir. So just continuation from episode 2, you guys. We thank you for checking that one out. We definitely talked about COVID-19 and kind of just the ways in which it was affecting our lives. But we also wanted to briefly touch on the fact of what the media, the role of the media, and how that plays on our emotions and our feelings towards how we feel about this virus. My personal experience is I believe that the media has kind of done a disservice to the actual virus by playing more so on the fears of people rather than necessarily all the facts. I understand a lot of the media's outlets, that's their job to kind of put us in position of where we think more about with our emotions than with our logic. And I just feel like, man, it's kind of sad to see that take place, especially when for as many people that have passed away, and God rest those souls, there's a lot more people recovering and that are living with this pandemic. I mean, the way it's covered, you would have thought it was AIDS in the 90s or in the 80s when, when you called it, it was just a wrap. And so I definitely think that the media hasn't done a great job of giving people both sides of the story with it. But I guess that's their job.
Yeah, it's definitely their job, bro, man. Media is a very tricky thing because, especially on like the major mass media networks, that's kind of their job is to spin fear, and that's how they're gonna get viewers, get listeners. They're gonna spin agendas to fit whoever I guess is giving them the most money at the time or whoever they want to support. So of course, as people and as people in general, we gotta be we got to do a better job being more informed and, sticking to our guns when it comes to our information. Of course, the news is good. The news has a place to stay in our society, but we have to always fact check things and don't just take things on the surface level, especially things like this. You know what I'm saying? Like this pandemic, if you look at, like I said, look at the numbers, there are more people that are recovering than dying. So with that said, you should already go into things with a mindset of, okay, there are ways that we can live with this and we can beat this, and it's not a death sentence. When you have that kind of knowledge or that kind of understanding, it's easier for you to make higher quality decisions. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the biggest takeaway, man. It's just being informed, and
Absolutely.
You had mentioned this last time or the end of the last episode about how like it's seemingly like in the media, we're having to choose between our economy and the healthcare system. You know what I'm saying? And I think that just us having that kind of discussion or even being something that we even see is ridiculous because healthcare is one of the biggest drivers of the economy. You feel what I'm saying? But it's kind of twisted because if people are not making money, then how are they going to afford their healthcare? And if people are sick, how are they going to go to work to make the money? So it was like this like double-edged sword you have to nip and tug at. But as we can see, a lot of states are opening back up. A lot of people are going back to work soon. Me personally, I feel like it's a little bit too soon. I feel like we should let this shit, ride out until summertime, ride out through summertime. Or at least if we're going to open up, we should have measures in place that we can be prepared for the fall, because the fall is going to come sooner than we know, and we have to be ready for that. Because people are saying, or I've been hearing officials say that there might be a second wave coming once the flu season starts. So we have to be very mindful, very proactive to have available testing, have available measures that once that wave comes, if it is coming, that we are prepared and don't fuck up like we did earlier this year.
Absolutely. And I just think, like I said, when we look at the media and their role, they have a job to do it. And, you want to be, careful to not to like tell people not to listen to the media and things of that nature. I just like people to take in multiple sources of information. I mean, that's the type of person I am. Whenever you have to come to decisions about things, and maybe I'm a little bit more rational or and logical in my approaches to things, but I just feel like the more information you have, the better you're able to come to a better decision in terms of how you actually feel. And to your point, man, the second wave is going to come regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, as most viruses, just again, if you have more information, you understand that a lot of viruses during the summer months they tend to go down, right? It's warmer weather. That's kind of the natural cycle. As it gets colder, they begin to become more prevalent and more effective and things of that nature. So, I mean, for me personally, I'm a little happy that things are starting to open back up. I mean, at the end of the day, I think everybody has to use common sense. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't use that, so that's part of the issue right then and there. But hey, what can we do but try to just move forward the best way we can, and hopefully use our ability to learn what we have already been through to definitely push forward. But and wrapping up COVID talk, we're just gonna briefly touch on some ways in which you guys can come out on top of this pandemic. We understand. And we empathize with a lot of you guys who might have lost your jobs out there or be in positions that have somewhat compromised you and your family through this virus. But like I said like we talked about in the last episode, it's great to have seen so many more people seemingly being more active, taking a more concerned and critical approach to their health and wellness. I love to see that. That's something that obviously we do on a daily basis. We've been doing before COVID. And also, I just wanted to touch on something that, hell, I even did today, which is meditation. I think meditation is something that you guys should all take a look at. They got plenty of apps out there that you guys can check out. I use the one called the Daily Calm. It's actually just called Calm. Very effective app for me, just kind of helping me gain traction in my headspace as far as letting go of things, kind of observing my thoughts. I actually had to use it today, man. Like, I just looking on social media and just feeling overburdened by all that's going on in the world today, even with COVID. And now you're talking about we're bringing up the pains and the wounds of social injustice. Like, I had to use the app literally after I did my workout just to kind of really just detach myself from that shit, because that shit can burn you out. Like I said, there's so much information, so many emotions that's being reinforced that if you're not careful, that shit overtakes you, and you don't know how to necessarily, how to feel about it, but it overtakes your psyche and emotions and drives you into a place of confusion. So hopefully you guys can use meditation as a way to come out on top, and as well just try to do something different. I'm not saying you gotta come out of here with a new skill set, but I mean, you should want to. You don't want to waste, 3 months of your life sitting at home, having nothing change since you had to be on quarantine. So hopefully you guys take that to heart.
Yeah, definitely, bro. I agree with you 100%, man. Like, meditation and, finding ways to keep yourself busy are definitely good ways to keep your mental health in check, man. Of course, outside of everything else we said last episode about, natural methods and how to protect your immune system and stuff like that. But, taking a break is really good for your mental space, man. Your mental health. I know mental health is like all of the wave nowadays, but that shit is very important, man. Like, what goes on between your ears is just as important what goes on, in your chest with your heart and your lung. You know what I'm saying? They're
Absolutely.
all very important, but I think we neglect mental health because of the society we live in, the culture that we've been brought up under, especially as black men. Us being told we are the protectors, the providers, the leaders, and then we've come to find that oftentimes we neglect those things, like taking a break and really checking on how we feel, like having emotional intelligence, having to really be able to be eloquent and speak our minds and stuff like that the right way. So, like you said, man, coming out of COVID, man, try to figure out a way that you can better yourself so that you can look back at this time and say that it wasn't a waste. It was something that made me better instead of something that, tore me down.
Most definitely. And I think with that, man, we can. That's pretty much the wrap up of episode 2, dealing with COVID talk. And so now, as we transition into kind of the meat and potatoes of this episode, man, I mean, like I said, this episode is very emotionally charged for sure, because again, we're transitioning from one pandemic to one in which has really been at the core and at the starting front since Black folks have arrived in America, forced to come over here as slaves. And it seems as if while things have gotten better in a lot of respects, the core of our pain, a lot of pain points, is just still the same. And it's been pretty much a wild, reckless week and a half of situations, starting with in Central Park, a white woman having her dog off a leash, and a Black man asking her simply to put her dog on a leash, and her then getting upset because he's filming her as she's not following the rules, and then she simply says the words that she's going to call the police and tell them that a Black man is threatening her. Like that shit has been getting Black men killed since before, and most prevalently known, the Emmett Till case. And shit like that is beyond sad, it's beyond frustrating, to the death of George Floyd, which we seen on camera yet again. A white man not giving a fuck about a Black man's life, looking at him as if he's definitely beneath him. Man telling you he can't breathe, telling you he wants to stand up, and just the disregard for human life, man. That shit is just frustrating. Like I said, I mean, you guys have seen everything that's transpired from that event on social media for sure. And, again, the question is, when is this shit going to end?
No, man, it's definitely disheartening, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to the point now where, I almost have, me personally, I'll speak from my personal view, I'm almost numb to that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Every time I hear about another Black person dying unarmed at the hands of police, man, or, you know what I'm saying, being done wrong, like the guy in Central Park, or like, Breonna Taylor, people going to the wrong fucking house. At this point, dog, at this point, it's like, I'm numb. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have enough emotion to give. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, I'm like, I know this is the issues. I know it's a big problem. So I'm all about solutions now. You know what I'm saying? We have been diagnosing our problems for 400 plus years, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you said earlier, we have made progress. We have made significant progress from our condition when we first got to this country to now. So I'm not going to discredit, those that are working hard in the community. Some of our leaders like MLK, Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do stuff like that. But I will say that in today's time, we have to do a better job of, taking our emotion and applying that to action items. And I always, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse sometimes, but fuck it, man. The easiest thing we can do is take our Black asses. I don't want to say that. Take our asses to the fucking voting booth and vote, man. That's the easiest thing we can fucking do. No, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Sorry for the language, bro, but it's the easiest thing that we can do because everyone has that right. Everyone has the luxury that we can go to the voting booth and vote for people that can represent our interest. Now, we can take it a little further as a Black community. I feel like we have to do a better job of generalizing our interest. You feel what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
Meaning like our interests are almost too specific. Now, when I say that, I don't mean too specific like they're not important, but too specific to the point where we then find ourselves at odds, and that shit make us be at a fucking standstill when it comes to trying to solve problems. If we can get on the same page and have a common goal, then we can start to make strides in our political foothold in this country and creating consequences and holding those accountable that do us wrong.
Yeah, man, and those are facts. You touched on a lot there. Specifically voting. I know a lot of people don't want to hear about that right now. A lot of people are more in an attack mode, enraged feeling. But voting is very important because what you have to understand is there's two ways to go about this. And I'm looking at a Martin Luther, I call it the MLK approach and the Malcolm X approach, right? So the MLK approach is more along the lines of what I would consider the voting power, changing the political landscape. That's the more obvious nonviolent approach, looking at things and saying, and it can work. There has to be some education around why voting, not just why voting is important, why voting on a local level, paying attention and understanding politics. We get so many people in our community to say we don't like politics or we don't understand it. That's no longer can be an excuse for why we don't pay attention and make sure that we are represented the way that we should be at every single level of government. That's very, very important. And then you got the MLK approach, Malcolm X approach, I'll call it. And until there's a penalty for killing a black person, it's going to continue to happen. And unfortunately, that penalty might just have to be where black folks just out here busting off back. There's a clip of Tupac circulating right now where he's speaking to and about how you got all, people were white folks are trying to make him seem to be negative about him saying shooting at the police. And his whole thought process is the police are the ones out here shooting you, kicking you in the head, fucking over you, excuse my language. And so the same gun that in our communities we seem to be able to pull out on each other over dumb, petty shit in an instance without even thinking, use that same gun to shoot at the police who's killing you, who's killing your family, who's hurting your community. And the thing about it is the Malcolm X approach is straightforward. If a motherfucker like the guy was out there kneeling, I don't know, I don't even care about the motherfucker's name, but who was kneeling on George Floyd's neck. If a black man was out there with a gun and just shot that cop smooth in his head and just downed him right then and there, they'd be like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, there's no question. He'll be a dead man who did that. But then there would be a strict penalty of something that someone saw and said, you know what? That's how y'all rocking? Like, y'all killing people, y'all killing cops if they kill y'all? And it's like, yeah, fucking right. Like, that's just what it is. Y'all out here killing us. We might as well bust off at y'all back. And I'm not saying that approach is going to be effective or that it's right. I'm just simply saying there has to be a price to pay for killing people like us, man. Like, that shit's been going on for too long.
No, that is 100% facts, man. We have to find a way where we can merge those two ideals and create legitimate repercussions for those that do us harm and those that do us wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? I like to use this as an example. For example, the LGBTQ community. You know what I'm saying? They have found a way to create an atmosphere of accountability that now everyone is sensitive to their plight. It's even now to the point where people get uncomfortable even saying words like homosexual, even thinking anything wrong about, someone from that community. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like if we were able to harness, some of those principles in terms of how they got their agenda across and apply that to black people, where people would feel uncomfortable even thinking to look at a black person as less than, even get uncomfortable even thinking about calling a black person for no reason. You feel what I'm saying? Like you said before, if there was legitimate repercussions for when we were done harm, then a lot of the harm wouldn't come, and that would be a great deterrent. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just a very fine line, man. It's very it's very complex to find out what's the perfect balance. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a threat scale. If you're, you know what I'm saying? Like if you feel as though someone is threatening your life, then you can use X and X action, right? If someone is just passing you by, someone's pushing you, you may not want to pull out your gun on them. You can probably use your hands instead, So it's like a never-ending spectrum or scale that just slides with each and every situation. Now, when it comes to George Floyd, you know what I'm saying? I agree with you in the point, what if someone did kill that cop? What if someone did kill those cops that were there? What if someone harmed the family of those cops? then maybe the cops that are part of that situation or part of that department or cops around the country would think twice. Like, you know what?
You would. There's no question you would. That's human
You know
nature,
what I'm
right?
saying? Yeah,
Like,
exactly. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, like, man, I got a wife and kid at home. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Let me think about them because I don't want to do this nigga dirty and then I got to worry about my kids' safety going to school. Nah, you know what I'm saying? You want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing. Like I was saying earlier with the LGBTQ, man. Like people that say anything about them, say anything in a negative context, got to worry about themselves being reprimanded, losing their job, being ostracized in society. You know what I'm saying? Like if we can get that same effect when it comes to our interests and our ideals, when people do us wrong, then we could have a lot more success in this country, at least socially. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely. And I think the one reason why we haven't been able to be like that, the LGBTQ community, is because they fall under the umbrella that love prevails, or that thing, in my opinion, uh, I would synonymously say that that's their what that could be their slogan. It's all about love, loving each other. It doesn't matter black or white, Asian or Hispanic. That is all about love, being who you are, showing who you are unapologetically, and loving who you are no matter what. And that's their ultimate goal. Sure, they might have other agendas and other perspectives on life that differ, but that's their ultimate goal. And I think for us as a community, the like what we need to fight more than anything is the inequalities, right? Like right now, we have so much diversity in our communities because we have so many subgroups that of our population of African Americans who don't share the same issues at times, or even are the same conflict. You know
Fact.
what I'm saying? But like we have to understand that this inequality, this same rage that everybody feels from watching this fucking video, like that same rage has to be put into action as far as making things better for us all when it comes to inequalities. Like we can't be worried about all these separate minutia details or all these niches that's going on. There's one goal at hand, and we have to move that needle forward. And conversations like this, dialogue, progressive dialogue, is the way to do it. And like we said, people don't want to hear about voting. I know a lot of people feel a lot of different ways, but you sound ignorant when you say you're not going to vote. You sound ignorant to say that the power that you originally did not have, that was placed to you, you're now not going to use because of how you feel. At some point, you have to merge those emotions that cause the pain that you feel with the logic and the actions that's going to say, okay, how do we move step by step? And you got to merge that. If you don't merge it, like I said, part of that's what differentiate us from animals, right? And animals are emotional too. Like they don't have the ability to necessarily think. They just respond. You know, our ability to merge the two senses of nature, if you will, logic and emotion, that's what separate us. We have the ability to do that, and we have to utilize that in the most effective form. Otherwise, ain't shit going to change. I mean, like I said, man, it's really sad and disheartening, and it's tiring and it's draining to sit up here and have these conversations. And it's like we just finished talking about Breonna Taylor, who honestly didn't get the recognition, uh, or the exposure, shall we say, that you know Ahmaud Arbery got when he was gunned down by two white supremacists. You know what I'm saying? We have too much shit going on where we ain't even really having a chance to heal from these. Like, and now you think about it, yeah, we're sick and tired, but now we're seeing George Floyd's name, and it's almost like, not to say that we forgot about them, but we can't forget about them. We can't forget about none of these people. Like, just and George Floyd is just the
Just
latest.
the
You
latest,
know what I'm
bruh.
saying? Just the latest. Like, he's not like Breonna Taylor. They still trying to get those. Like, her boyfriend is in jail right now because he shot at some undercover cops because they said they were cops when they broke into his house, even though they had already arrested the suspect earlier in the day. Like, this shit that you hear, it's just like niggas are tired of America's bullshit. We're tired of hearing the same repetitive lies and saying that things are going to get better. And the only way things are going to get better, they're right. Black folks got to stand up and be unified for a period of time, because that's the thing with us. Our attention span is short as fuck. Like, niggas get like short-sighted real quick. Like we say these people's names, and in a few weeks to a month, we back to doing the same shit. We ain't really, and I don't want to generalize us, but that's facts. Like we don't collectively still feel this rage until another incident happens. Then the rage comes back, and then it's like it just goes away. Then it comes back. It's like we have to sustain this level of rage, and we have to channel it into progressive action. That's it.
Man, that's it, bro. And with that said, how you feel about the riots and the stuff going on right now in Minnesota?
Man, I'm not gonna fly to you. I'm a bit torn on it, but I will say this much. I would say this much. I asked yesterday on my IG, what it was for people in looting, and I had a lot of different responses. A lot of people saying people are fed up, it's an emotionally charged behavior. And my whole point about looting is simple. Like looting some businesses, and I've heard different stories about why people were looting Target at this point, but my thing about looting is simple. What does jacking businesses around or tearing up business in the community have to do with the death of George Floyd? And a lot of people have no real answer besides just saying people are fed up. Fine, I can empathize with that. I might not agree with it, but I can empathize with you because I can't tell another man how to feel about a situation. That's not my role. So I can empathize with you because I am sick and tired of it as well. Would I have necessarily been out there doing that same shit? Nah, I wouldn't. But I'll empathize with it. But as far as the riots, the type of energy I was on was like, if y'all really wanted to burn some shit down, burn down the police station or burn down the man's house who did that, who killed him. And waking up this morning and hearing about them burning down the police station, I can't lie to you. That's the type of energy I was on. I probably would have been out there with some shit like that just because, like, it's not productive, but that's a symbol to let you know where it's targeted. Like, that's the target.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're targeting the police station because this is the people that's fucking over us. I'm not going to be I don't give a damn about Target. I don't give a damn about AutoZone. You could talk to me about whatever that shit. I'm always at a mindset. I'm bringing it to the person I got an issue with. Fuck all that other shit. Like people be having issues with people. I'll come direct with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need you to feel exactly where I'm coming from, what I'm about, and there's no question in your mind or my mind where my energy is directed towards. That's just the type of person I am. So when I saw that they did that in Minnesota, I applauded it, to be honest with
Nah,
you.
that man. Listen, bro, I couldn't agree with you more, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I'm definitely 50-50 on it. But at the same time, I feel like even when we are at, like you said, things have to be directed at those that are really fucking with us. You know what I'm saying? They were doing it at the guy's house, police station. I can understand that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? But they doing shit at Target because I heard someone say because they didn't want to serve people that were a part of the riot, and then they went ham on the Target. And then I'm seeing that they ransacking auto zones and fucking schools, bruh. Like
Right.
I have family that live in Minnesota. They said
Mm.
that their high school is on fire right now. Like literally, like today. What time is it right now? What time is it? It's 7:36 p.m. right now. They
Mm.
said their high school was on fire an hour ago, bruh. A high school, my nigga, during the middle of a fucking pandemic where some kids only get food from their high school, bro. You gonna burn down the high school, son? So you
And
know what I'm
that
saying? That's where I fucking divide from that shit. It's like, if you're gonna be upset, we gotta have some type of strategy with that shit. We can't just burn shit down and burn shit down. That's gonna leave us in a fucking hole. You know what I'm saying? And and
facts.
and like you said, man, I feel like, you know, on the other end, it's like, okay, these same people that are out here rioting and looting, I really hope that they're going to get involved in these communities and try to help rebuild and try to help vote. You know what I'm saying? That's really the key here. Just don't riot and loot and all kind of shit. And then come November and come next week, June 2nd, for these fucking primaries, we are not showing up because I read online that Minnesota has some of the largest voter turnouts and some of the lowest black voter turnouts. So if we really
Mm.
gonna be honest about things, we can't just, you know, we have to dot our I's and cross our T's. If we're gonna riot and loot, we have to be involved. If not, Don't do that shit, man. It makes no fucking sense. You're gonna burn down a fucking community and then have no say in who the fuck is gonna be the mayor of that shit, or who the fuck gonna be the state delegate of that district. You know what I'm saying? What's
Facts.
the point of that?
And I listen, man. Like, and let me be very, very clear. Like, if black folks and people can feel how they want to feel, this is why we have our podcast, and we welcome any and all feedback at all times. So, definitely let us know what you think. We always say that. But if black folks are out here rioting and burning down their own communities and their own businesses, then them niggas just stupid. Period.
Period.
It's not a lot to argue with me about. I don't care how emotionally charged up you are. If you don't have the ability to rationalize and think about your own communities and what you have to go do and what your kids have to go do or what your parents might have to go through, if you're not thinking about that and all you see is red, this is the key to that. Listen, life is precious. I think that one thing we need to be able to understand and reference to, like, it's been a tough week, man. Like, we just came from a memorial service of a friend yesterday, and
Man.
and experiencing that moment is very tough. And people say, well, what does that have to do with anything here? As much as shit is bad in our communities and in the United States right now, people still have to understand the value of life. And that's literally what we're talking about, obviously, when we're talking about Black Lives Matter. So while you emotionally charged up out here doing ignorant, I mean, not just ignorant, but like just doing things off of emotion, understand that you still are blessed to be in the land of the living, and that there's a lot of people who are not here, and you can be one of them in an instant. So understand that everything that you do has to have some type of recourse that is going to lead to something better. And if it's not, then you don't need to be doing it. And again, I know a lot of people like, man, I ain't trying to hear that. Like a lot of people, man, that's one of the things that about black folks that we don't always get right, is we feel like because we so charged up, we can just do anything and we can just blame it on our emotional state. And that's just not how
I'm
life
telling you,
works.
bro.
And it's like when I look at people like that, it frustrates me because it's like, dog, what you think? I don't feel no type of way. What you think? I just can't, like, it takes nothing to be a man. Like, and it takes nothing to just go out here and do anything. Like, niggas do it every day. Niggas do it in your community every day. So to sit up here and act like, because now we seen enough, like, again, it is frustrating, but we have to mobilize and figure out ways to. I'm not mad at the riots. Like I said, I'm not going to sit up here and say that I would be involved in every situation, because that's just like I said, everybody can say what they would do until it's time. Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the
Mm-hmm.
fucking face, in the words of Mike Tyson. So you can say what you about all day long until a nigga puts you in the spotlight and it's like, what's up? So I hear everybody talking about what they would do, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, the riots that's going on in Minnesota, the protests that's going on across the country, I'm not mad at them because I empathize and sympathize with them and I feel them, because it is draining to see. But again, to your point, all of that means absolutely nothing if we don't get out and turn out and show out to vote the way that we need to vote in order to make these changes. And the reality is, unfortunately, what you have to understand about our president currently is that he plays the race card. Like, black folks got to stop getting so offended by everything Trump
Mm-hmm.
says. He's been the same guy that he's been since he ran for president, period. He's been the exact same guy. We know who he is. He is nothing but more of a symptom of a problem. People get mad at him, but he says these things. Why does he say these things? Because he knows that there's a lot of people out there who feel exactly the way that he's saying, or feel the way that he's saying. And he understands he's speaking to those people, because those people are the people that's going to, no matter what they feel, come out and vote no matter what. He understands the game. And I think that that's the issue with our community. We look at, the situations, and we get charged up even with Joe Biden and some of the
All
things he
right.
said, and now people are against Joe Biden. But you have to understand and again, rationalize your feelings. It is okay to be in your feelings. Like, it's okay to feel, but you have to be able to understand them. And again, this is where meditation comes in. I know a lot of people probably might sit out there and listen and say, I don't want to do that. You should try it. it's very beneficial, very effective for gathering your thoughts and understanding it's okay to feel ways and it's okay to detach. Like they said, everything will work again if you just unplug it, and that includes you. It's okay to unplug from the world. Everything, if you plug it back up, it's like your TV. You unplug it, it don't work. But when you plug it back up, it's all good. Everything is back to normal. Unplug yourself from some of this shit. Understand what it is that you are feeling, because that's the only way that you'll be able to think clearly and rationalize. And like I said, I get it. I might be more rational than other folks, and a lot of people might be like, "That's an issue." But no, that's the way that we have to think if change is going to come about. All this shit that niggas just talking about, like, like niggas act like we are the fucking majority.
Right. Like, what
You
the
know what I'm
fuck?
saying? Like we are the minority. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like there's a reason why we feel the way that if we were a majority, we clearly wouldn't feel this way, because we would just say, you know what? We're the majority. Let's run it. Like let's shut this shit down. It would be no questions. But there's a reason why we have to go about the things, doing it the methodical way that we do, is because we're in the minority, and we have to understand we have to solicit help from our white counterparts. And listen, I'm with everybody. White people that's out there listening, that's just watching this shit, the same way y'all love our culture, y'all need to show that y'all love us that same way. Because if y'all showed up the same way that y'all showed up and showed out the same way that y'all love Black people's culture, our culture, the trendsetters,
Mm-hmm.
we would be in a much better place.
Mm-hmm. The same way that they gather around their fucking TVs to watch the Last Dance, the same way that they buy these courtside seats to see LeBron and to see Kyrie, KD, all these motherfuckers, right? Come on. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, if we weren't the minority, we wouldn't need their support. But that's not the reality that we live in. We have to solicit their support in order to get our voices heard in some instances, man. And that's the fucking truth. And the thing with Donald Trump, like today, he tweeted about, how he called the looters thugs and stuff like that. How they're dishonoring the image of George Floyd. And my mentor was explaining this to me earlier. He was like you said, Donald Trump is not tweeting at Black people. Donald Trump is tweeting at those liberal white voters that are consumers of these places like a Target, who no longer can get their fucking soap tomorrow, or who can't get their fucking groceries done on Sunday. Those are the people who are going to be like, damn, my fucking store is broken down because these Black folks. Fuck them. I'm going to vote for Trump. Those are the people that he's talking to. You know what I'm saying? Trump is trying to do whatever he can to gain political edge and speak to those that are feeling the exact same way that he's speaking. You feel what I'm saying?
Most
So
definitely.
yeah,
And
no,
that's
go ahead.
what and I was just saying that's just what we have to understand. You know what I'm saying? It's not fair. This country is not right, but there's a lot of blessings to look in within, and we have to use, like I said, just value in life in our own communities. And I know that's not where people want to go, but just value in life is important, because it allows you to continue to wake up and be able to do the work that you know you have to do in order to move things forward. Um, and to your point about Trump, he's never speaking to Black folks. He's never speaking. People think he's speaking to, when he tweets these things, he's never speaking to them or us. He's speaking to people that he knows can relate to what the issues are that he sees, and that's just how it goes. I mean, it's tough, man. I think, like I said, as Black folks, man, we are a very powerful race of people. We've been through and endured so much. We have overcame so much. We continue to overcome so much. It's not going to be an easy fight. If people feel like I said, a lot of people are of the mindset like of the Malcolm X regime. Like I said, you want to go off and pop people in the head, but you got to be about that action. Everybody talk about
Yeah,
it until it's time to be about it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like I said, when you talking about looting and all that shit, like I said, I was of the mindset, if niggas was really about that action, and I'm just being transparent, and people can say how they want to feel, there's a certain level of emotional rage that still overcame or subjected itself to the logical part of your brain. Because if you really felt that type of way, if you really was that enraged, that and thought that that's the only way to go about it, you would have, even though those cops were protecting that man's house, if people were really about it the way they said they was that enraged, the way that they say, the niggas got guns in Minnesota. We know what time it is. Niggas got guns everywhere. You would have took them same guns and it just would have been a shootout. It would have been like, fuck it, a life for a life. And that's just how we rocking with it. And however it turned out is how it turned out. Nigga could say, oh, they got on gear and all that. That's logic speaking, no, because you understand what time it is. You like, I don't know if I want to just die behind that. So unless you're really talking about that, you have to go about ways that are going to be more productive and saving lives incrementally. We understand that Black people are still being abused by police, man, and this shit is like I said, it's sad. It's like it's frustrating. It's angers, but unless we gonna really just bust back and like do what Tupac said, take the same gun that you would take and kill your brother or pull out on your brother in a second and shoot a cop, unless we really about to start really doing that, then the conversation is mute.
Mute,
You know what
bro.
I'm saying? It's like, no monolithic thought should or can be achieved by any and all Black people on any subject. There's not a monolithic thought that we have. We're a very diverse
I'm
group
telling you,
of
bro.
people. But at the end of the day, the goal is to try to achieve the best way to achieve equality. And there's a lot of things that differ in us between our experiences, our backgrounds, our education, our social status. But the end all be all should be working towards a consensus of how we get there. And until we all come together and understand the importance of politics, understanding why that's important, understanding how a guy like Donald Trump, instead of just being like, I can't believe he president, man, how he become president? There's a way at understanding politics. People might say Trump don't understand politics, but either himself or his team and the people he surrounded himself with understood the game of politics. People don't understand that about Barack Obama. I listen to some people say what Obama's not doing or he didn't do enough. Like people act like niggas weren't getting killed before Obama was president. Like
Right.
they act like this shit just started happening when he got in or he just wasn't doing enough. Obama is the president of the United States of America. He is not the president of Black people only. And Black people have to understand that while again he is the president, he dealt with a Congress of Republicans. So they are against, basically a lot of them against what he believes in, his ideals anyway. So when it comes to getting shit done, how much can he get shit done? And then you're talking about on a local level, governors and fucking mayors. If they're Republicans and you're not turning out the vote on that level, then what do you expect this man to do? He ain't Jesus. He ain't coming, like he ain't able to save all of y'all. We have to hold ourselves accountable and be changes where we want to see. Because again, like I said, you can go with Malcolm X, you can go with MLK, you can go with both. And I'm with you. It's got to be both. We have to figure out a way to merge the two because right now everybody just charged up. Everybody, they have a protest going on today in DC right now, or it might be getting ready to end. I'm not sure exactly where it was. Somebody asked me, was I going out there? And I was just like, nah, I'm not going out there because I was emotionally and mentally drained from watching this shit on social media, from watching CNN. Like, I don't have nothing left. Like, my mental health right now is more important because everyone that's going out there to protest, and I pray that everybody is safe out there that's doing so, everybody comes with a different mindset. Some people are genuinely hurting for this country. Some people are there just to see what's going on, to be a part of it. Some people are there for the clout so they can say something about it. And again, I'm not here to judge any man or woman or how they decide to choose and live their life. But the point being is that until the end all be all goal from a unified perspective, it might not be 100%, but it damn sure needs to be over 80%, where the goal is like equality, justice, or else or nothing. Then we ain't gonna move nowhere.
That's 100% facts, dog. Cannot lie to you, bro. That's 100% unadulterated facts, bro. Like, we really tripping out here, bro. Like, really. really out here tripping, bro. And like you said, man, I really hope people that are going to these protests, man, y'all be safe, but y'all also turn out next week and this November, man, for real. And even if y'all feel like voting is rigged and the country is they already select their president before the shit even happens and all that fucking conspiracy shit, man. Do some shit, do some grassroots shit in your community then. You know what I'm saying? Do something that's really gonna affect change where you fucking live, dog. Get the fuck off Twitter, fuck off Instagram, get your fucking fingers to work towards something that's actionable and applicable to your fucking community, dog. Because I haven't seen anyone tweet and that shit changed the condition of our people, man. Period. Nothing in this country has been done just by talking. Nothing, bro.
Thanks.
I don't care if you white, black, Hispanic, homosexual, anything. Nothing has been done to fix the plight of those that are marginalized by just talking about that shit, man. Nothing, bro.
Nah, we gotta, like I said, man, God bless the lives of so many lost. I mean, 2020 has been a rough year, man. We obviously this social justice, inequality, pandemic, epidemic, whatever you want to describe it, that's been going on since the inception of us being here as Black folks, and then just dealing with the COVID shit. It's a rough year, and like I said, for those of you all out there, we appreciate you rocking with us, listening to us. I mean, like I said, this was an emotionally charged episode, and I expect emotionally charged, debates or results from you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look forward to feedback. And like I said, we don't shy away from anything. We speak our mind. We welcome people to really, if you guys want to join us, because that's the point. We want to make this, as much as we're growing and we're continuing to do this for things that you guys are interested in listening to. We definitely, experts, people out there that have specializations or specific knowledge in certain things, hit us up. We definitely welcome you on the show to have dialogue. This isn't debates. We might not agree on certain things. The important thing is conversation starters, man. Dialogue, having the ability to empathize and understand where one person is coming from in order to get to achieve the next step in this process. Because no matter what people think out there that this shit is going to happen overnight, ain't nothing happened overnight. Nothing ever has, nothing ever will. And all we can do is continuously take the proper steps to kind of make this country, America, be who she's claimed to be since we've been here.
Man, that's 100% facts, bro. I couldn't agree with you more, man. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't agree with you more on that topic, man, for sure. And like you said, if anyone wants to come on and speak with us on the podcast and have a dialogue, that's the whole thing. We want to have dialogue so that we can bring to light new perspectives and new, you know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing, because there are some things that a person may see one topic some way, I may see it a different way, and when they explain it to me, I understand where they're coming from, and then I can maybe, okay, cool, maybe it's not the way that I think it is all the time. So that's the importance of having this podcast, man, is to bring out and bring to light different perspectives so that we can, get the ball rolling towards a common goal.
Yes, sir. And with that, you guys, I am emotionally out. This has been quite a week, man, in 2020. But y'all God bless you guys. We thank you for rocking with us. Have a safe weekend. Episode 3 drops Sunday. Be on the lookout. Like I said, hit us up on IG at TLAR _ podcast. Make sure you guys check us out. We appreciate all the love, all the support, all the feedback, and please, 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 please continue to rock with us and be safe.
Indeed.